Hi, I'm Gabe Schreiber. I'm an International Tax Senior Manager with Eide Bailly in our National Tax Office. I'm going to talk about 4 key changes to the international tax provisions in the One Big Beautiful Bill that was signed into law on July 4th. Most of these changes are going to go into effect tax years starting after 12/31/2025. Most notably maybe is what didn't make it into the bill, and that's the U.S. response to the unfair foreign taxes, what we were calling the Section 899 revenge tax. As the bill was being finalized, the U.S. and OECD came to an agreement as the implementation of Pillar 2 taxes impacting U.S. companies in such a way that the drafters of this bill pulled that language, which is generally a good thing for manufacturing companies. So getting into what changed, we're going to talk about changes to GILTI, FDII, a quick note on R&E expenses, and the interest limitation calculations. Starting with GILTI, which we're now going to call net CFC tested income, the impact to manufacturing companies here is really in the changes to the calculation. The inclusion calc historically allowed for a reduction for 10% of your fixed assets. That was removed. So now the inclusion calculation is going to increase because you're no longer going to be able to take a benefit of having fixed assets in your foreign affiliates, which for manufacturing companies might have a material impact in the calculation. Additionally, the US deduction on NCTI income is going from 50% to 40%, which will cause the effective rate in the US to increase slightly to 12.6% from 10.5%. Additionally, the foreign tax haircut has been adjusted from 20% to 10%, which is taxpayer favorable. And overall, the effective foreign rate on your income, where you don't have to pay residual tax, is going up slightly from 13.125% to 14%. So for manufacturing companies that have large foreign operations, this may cause an additional NCTI, what we used to call GILTI, inclusion in your US tax calculation. Next, we're going to talk about FDII, which we're now calling FDDEI income. Some of the changes here are favorable for manufacturing companies. Historically, the deduction required you to reduce your deduction by 10% of your fixed asset base. That reduction was eliminated, which should cause a broadening of the base. The effective rate on this income is going up slightly from 13.125% to 14%. But with the changes to the calculation, we generally should see manufacturing companies get a larger benefit going forward as a result. And it should encourage some companies to potentially have manufacturing operations here, as there will no longer be this negative impact to the calculation. Third, for R&E expenses, there's good news and no news. Good news for domestic R&E is that it's now fully deductible. Your foreign R&E is still subject to a 15-year capitalization and amortization, which is the rules we've been working under currently. So that was not changed. Lastly, the interest limitation calculation under Section 163J was changed to go back to 30% of what is essentially EBITDA. Right now it's 30% of EBIT, and so it expands it back to EBITDA, which should provide for additional interest deductions.